You're playing nerdy with Zach Beer and Twitter bots, but your reality can't hide behind Wi-Fi.
How many faking they streams, getting they plays from machines? I can see behind the smoke and mirrors, niggas ain't really big as they seem.
Take off from fabricate streams and the microwave memes. It's a real world outside.
You already know what it is. It's your boy Lightwalker X here, back with another video, and damn, man. I'm not gonna lie, I'm still reeling over the Blue Jays loss. Blue Jays just played the Dodgers, took them to 7 games. Crazy series, probably the most cinematic series I've ever seen in my first series, because to be honest with you, I don't watch baseball like that. I'm more of a basketball, like track and field guy. You know, I watch some football and soccer, but, you know, I never really watched baseball. I've been to a game before, a Blue Jays game, but wasn't really an avid watcher. But since the Jays made it to the finals, definitely had to support. And it was a good ride. It was fun. It was a roller coaster. It was a lot of emotions, and we lost. The Dodgers won, you know, so congratulations to the Dodgers. Congratulations to you guys in LA. I'm going to blame Drake for that. Maybe I'll give him 25% of the blame. Not all the blame, because most of it is on the players. Okay, guys, I'm joking. Maybe I'm not joking, but the point is, Drake did attend a couple of those games. And although he did attend the first game that we won, we did end up losing game 6 and 7. And I guess you could say the script wasn't in our favor, because LA did go back-to-back on us. 10 years after back-to-back by Drake did come out. So I guess it was written in the stars. Kendrick did back-to-back shows in the same stadium, and then they came and beat us back-to-back. Oh, man, it sucks. But only reason why we could say we can kind of blame Drake is because he did make fun of Ohtani on his story, which, big mistake. Do not troll. Do not make fun. Don't celebrate when it's too early. You never do that. You never celebrate when you're up. You celebrate when you win, because they might get the last laugh, and look, yes, we know, as they did. So we're here now. And I guess you say it's been a rough week for the light-skin brigade, the two light-skin rappers, Drake and J. Cole, because we have lawsuits flying left and right. Not only did Drake announce last week that he will be appealing his UMG lawsuit, but it does seem like he ain't the only one that's going to be able to file lawsuits willy-nilly, because he just got slapped with 2 lawsuits that are all due to his gambling associations with Stake, the gambling company. Drake and Aiden Ross are being sued over deeply fraudulent promotion of crypto casino Stake. And it says here, a class action lawsuit accuses Drake and Aiden Ross of making millions of misleading ads for Stake, a social media casino alleged to be an illegal gambling operation. Now, I know many channels have already started discussing this, but it is pretty wild, because we know Drake has been, you know, working with Stake and streaming and gambling and putting up bets and stuff like that. And we don't need to get into the whole conversation of gambling and how promoting that to the youth, which is a good chunk of Drake's fan base, can be very damaging. But what I really wanted to tie this to was the fact that a lot of these propaganda accounts that we've seen online in regards to propaganda against Kendrick or the West Coast, Meg Thee Stallion, Cassie Ventura, and whoever else may be on the opposing side of these things, even Halle Bailey. We've noticed that a lot of these streamers that are putting out this damaging information and misleading info, propaganda, whatever, are tied to Stake. So I do find it funny that this is all coming out now, as Drake announced that he's filing an appeal for his lawsuit against UMG. So it is crazy timing. And, you know, a lot of us started looking at Drake differently after he started doing this massive Stake deal where he's just promoting gambling nonstop. And at the end of the day, I think it can be very harmful to the youth to see that, especially if you're in a position of power and influence. Someone like Drake, if they see you doing that and promoting it so easily, and access to getting these platforms is even easier, it doesn't really stop these people from being conditioned to believe that these things are good, which they can lead to addiction, dissociation, and many other negative things all under the sun. And like I said, I guess it hasn't been a good week for the lightskins, because Cameron is suing J. Cole over the Ready 24 collaboration that they did on the Might Delete album that J. Cole put out last year, as he claims he's owed $500,000 in royalties. That is crazy. That is wild, Cameron. I don't even know why you couldn't just hit J. Cole up in a text message or a call, but I'm assuming that maybe he ain't picking up the phone. Maybe to you, this felt like the last resort. This is the last thing that you could do to get your bread back. So I don't know what's going on with Cole here, but it says that Cameron has filed a suit against J. Cole, claiming that he's owed at least $500,000 in royalties over their 2024 collaboration Ready 24. Cameron filed a complaint in New York on Tuesday, October 28th, saying that he and Cole first worked together on the 2021 song 95 South, which featured on Cole's album The Off Season. In December 2021, Cole asked Cameron to work with him on another song for a future album, and Cameron agreed, but only on several conditions. He would have control over the final song, as well as proper credit, and Cole would collaborate with him on a future project, either a new single or an appearance on Cameron's podcast, It Is What It Is, according to the complaint. In the filing, Cameron alleged that he told Cole during the recording session that he would not authorize the song's release until Cole joined him on a future project, to which Cole allegedly agreed. 2 years later, with Cole having refused to honor his agreement to collaborate with Cameron on either a single or a guest on his podcast, J. Cole nevertheless released Ready 24 on the album Might Delete Later. And then Cameron alleges that Cole never followed through on his promise to take part in a future collaboration, and that the star denied multiple requests to appear on his podcast. So that's crazy. So it looks like J. Cole directly said, nah, I don't really want to be on your podcast. And maybe he's been giving him the cold shoulder, right? Like, it's just been bad move after bad move. And it's not as bad as Drake's, really nowhere near as bad as Drake's. But him doing the silent thing, I'm not acknowledging it, pretending that I'm not paying attention to what's going on, it doesn't really work for him. It honestly doesn't. And he's gonna have to, I don't even know if the fall off is coming anymore. I kind of assumed it would before the year is done, but it's November now. If it doesn't drop this month, does he drop it in December when, you know, the Christmas songs are gonna be all over the charts? Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? So like, J. Cole got to worry about this. I don't know if this is gonna be dropped. I don't know if there will be any new information regarding this anytime soon, but as of right now, it does look like Cameron and J. Cole aren't on good terms due to J. Cole not allegedly fulfilling his promise that he made to him. So I guess we will see in the coming weeks, if not months. And if there is, I will most definitely do a follow-up video on it. But I do find it crazy that these two guys are getting sued out of the big three, the two that started this entire debacle in the first place. I truly believe if Drake wasn't dissing on For All the Dogs Like How He Was, and they never did first person shooter, none of this would have happened. None of this would have happened. Like, everything that's happened over the last 2 years, maybe in another universe could have happened in a different way, but the way that it went down with all the things leading up to it and then everything that came after that, ain't no way. No, I don't think we would have got everything that we got if those two didn't make that song. And that says something. I think all their troubles that they're facing right now, lawsuits, the internet coming for them, their music not just sounding the same, us looking at them differently entirely since the beef, all that probably would have been prevented if they never made first-person shooters. So I do find it ironic that it's these two that are getting attacked. And, you know, Drake kind of makes a little bit more sense because he's out and about. But Cole, you're not even outside and they're coming for you, bro. So I don't know, man. Whatever you set the camera on, I hope you guys can figure that out. And at the end of the day, this just does more damage to your Fall Off album. I don't know what's going to happen with that. You know, the positive hip-hop purist in me says I want it to still be a good project, but you're doing more damage to your name as the days go by. And what sucks is that you don't even have to say anything. You don't even have to do anything. The damage is already being done. But let's go on to the most recent news, the most craziest news. And if you are a person with common sense, this isn't really that crazy because people with sense always assume this could be a possibility. We find out this morning, November 3rd, from Rolling Stone, financial harm. Lawsuit against Spotify claims billions of Drake streams were fraudulent. A new class action lawsuit accuses the streaming platform of turning a blind eye to mass-scale fraudulent streaming. Oh my days. A new class action lawsuit against Spotify alleges that the company has turned a blind eye to mass-scale fraudulent streaming on its platform, and that one musician in particular has been the beneficiary of billions of fake streams. Drake! The suit was filed in California's district court on Sunday night with rapper and cousin of Snoop Dogg, RBX, named as the lead plaintiff. While the most eye-popping allegations in the suit relate to Drake's streaming numbers, there are no specific accusations of wrongdoing against the Nokia rapper. Only Spotify is named as a defendant. The alleged fraudulent activity took place between January 2022 and September 2025. It claims an examination of Drake's streams revealed abnormal VPN usage had obscured the location of the bot accounts streaming Drake's songs. For instance, the lawsuit claims that over a 4-day period in 2024, at least 250,000 streams of his song No Face originated in Turkey. but were falsely geomapped through the coordinated use of VPNs to the United Kingdom in an attempt to obscure their origins. This sounds really suspect. The lawsuit also cites significant and irregular uptick months for Drake's songs, long after they've been released, as well as slower and less dramatic decay rates for Drake's music compared to his contemporaries. Decay rates refers to a typical streaming pattern where plays of an album or song naturally dwindle in the weeks and months after release. The lawsuit further claims that the number of streams of Drake's music attributable to an individual account is staggering and irregular, with a massive amount of accounts listening to Drake's music doing so 23 hours a day. Less than 2% of these users, the lawsuit goes on to claim, account for roughly 15% of Drake's streams. And ain't that crazy? Now, I think a lot of us theorized over the years that obviously these numbers are fake. And it's not just to say that he is the only one that bots his music, but me, as a sensible person who's not in the know fully of what goes on in the industry, would assume that it isn't just one artist, it's most artists, if not all of them, whether they know it or not. The con of the streaming era is the fact that these things can be done without anyone fully verifying it. So it's kind of foolish to me to believe that one artist bots their music and the others don't, or vice versa, that everybody bots their music and one artist doesn't. I just can't believe that. So when they would accuse Kendrick of botting, when Drake said that UMG botted this Not Like Us song with certainty, all of us looked and said, wait, how do you know that though? Like, how are you so for certain that it was bots? And the issue is with stans and this whole streaming era that we're in right now, the stans don't care to look past the posts that congratulate their favorite rappers on the highest selling album or the highest selling rapper of this month. They don't care to look past that. They go to these pages that just throw down stats every 5 minutes and they see the updates and they're like, yay, my favorite rapper made 50 million streams this week. So I feel embodied by that. And that means I'm as successful as them. You're not though, right? So like, that's the thing with me. Like, how could you just one-handedly believe one side, believe that one artist with certainty is botting, but my favorite artist isn't? And when you think about it, we go back to earlier in the year. I remember when Drake dropped his collab album with Party Next Door, Some Sexy Songs for You. He dropped that album, and I remember seeing a ton of his fans saying that I'm going to repeat this song nonstop. I already made an overnight streaming playlist to play this song. You guys are not even listening to the music. So that was already enough proof to me that you guys do this just to get the numbers up there. You don't even care if the song is good, right? Once you find the song on the album that has the most plays, you're going to claim that's the hit song, and we're just going to put sleep playlists on them, and then the songs will repeat nonstop, and that's how we'll get his numbers higher, which then I can now brag about in the coming days. This is insanity. It's like a whole nother level of delusion where people are so obsessed with stats that they'd rather just see the numbers rise as opposed to just listening to the music and enjoying it. Like, that will always be crazy to me. And it just shows you it's a stat mentality. It's a chart mentality. It's a metric mentality first. All these things are first before even listening to the music and liking it. Right. And I think what is happening here is that Drake has been the poster child for stats in the hip hop era, or at least within the modern era. It's not to say he's the only one that brags about stats and charts and stuff. Of course, that's always been a thing. But in the modern time, within the last 10 years, his fan base has wasted no time in reminding us every 2 seconds that he's the most streamed, the most listened to, the biggest or whatever. And the argument I see is, why would the biggest artist in the world need to bot? Well, have you guys ever thought that maybe he is the biggest artist in the world due to botting? Like I said, we don't know for sure, but we're seeing lawsuits and information drop every day detailing more stuff regarding this being a possibility. And you have to take it with a grain of salt, of course. I know his fans are out here denying it. They're saying, oh, they said that he's not directly involved or whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's the same thing that we were saying for Kendrick. We obviously off rip aren't going to believe that Kendrick bots his music because we know that he would never do something like that because the metrics and the charts were never important to him or rappers like him. But at the end of the day, there could be still a slight possibility, and I don't believe this, there could be a still slight possibility that his songs can be pushed without his knowledge. And we can say the same thing for Drake. So we can give him that grace, but it's kind of hard to believe that your fan base, some of the people that you prop up within, that's in your circle, and, you know, your whole mentality hasn't been metric first, hasn't been sleep playlists, let's get his numbers up, and you've been playing into that, right? So it's a little harder for me to believe that you had no clue that these things could have been happening, especially since since you went out of your way to accuse UMG and Spotify themselves of botting. Now we have to look back at your numbers and say, what's going on here? And that's what we've been noticing. His back catalog has been streaming tremendously well. And to me, his back catalog, his 2008 to 2014, you could say, run of music, to me is his more superior catalog. So it's not a surprise that everybody's kind of going back to the old music, but I'm seeing some insane number spikes, right? And it's not to say that people aren't going to listen to his music or his old stuff, but at this level, it's kind of wild. And I think what the expectation is that they expect us to not look further past it because we're just used to seeing numbers repeat every day. It's the same regimen of repeating and regurgitating stats. I think a lot of these pages post the same stats within a few weeks' time, and we're just so, clouded with life and everything on social media that we don't even realize, right? So that's why I don't even care. I wish Kurt Cole and the hip hop number chart pages and all these pages just stop posting everybody's stats, but they can't because that's the only thing that really kind of drives traffic to their page. If they just posted clips of rappers rapping and music, that would be an ideal thing for them to do, but it's probably not going to get them enough engagement because they need stands to argue in their comments to pay them more about who is better based on the charts. And unfortunately, that mentality is going to be here for a while. But when the person that champions the charts before the music, before the quality itself, the one who's been spearheading it is being accused of these things, after accusing someone else of these things, it does start to look a little interesting. I'm not going to lie to you. Now, I know some of the Drake stands are saying, it's Snoop Dogg's cousin. He's a loser. You don't know, who he is. How many hits does he have? You see what I say when they're chart obsessed? Who cares how many hits he has? Who cares what he has done in regards to music? That has nothing to do with what this is about. And that's just the truth. He may know some information, right, that we aren't privy to. And I guess we will find out. But I just want to say this to the stands. You guys believe so passionately that Kendrick botted, that UMG colluded with him, that he's a puppet, he's a Pinocchio, what did I miss, whatever. All these things without any proof. So why is it so difficult for you guys to believe this? Why is it so difficult for you guys to now support lawsuits after supporting them for almost a year? I thought you guys were for the betterment of all artists, which it does say in this paperwork here that doing this, artists that do this in the industry make it difficult for new upcoming artists to come in and survive. It's not fair. It's all about who you know clearly in the industry. And if you have the connections to do this, if you're that high up in the hierarchy and you're one of the top sellers, of course you can get away with this because you're one of the top people. But the people at the bottom of the food chain, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for them. And I don't think it's really fair in that regard. And I agree 100%. Whoever is botting, whoever is behind doing these fraudulent streams, all you guys need to be called out for it. And at the end of the day, if you can't put out a good body of work going forward, then maybe you're in the wrong field. The numbers seem to have these rappers blinded. It has them confused. And the fact that they're faking stats to prop up their own self-esteem shows you that they don't have that much confidence in the music that they're putting out. It's like a person on Instagram buying Instagram followers. They bought 1,000 new followers, but they're still only getting 100 likes. So they're not even getting near to what they want. But mentally, after a while, they're going to see their follower count and they're going to feel better than what they had before because the follower count is higher. But at the end of the day, you still pay for them and those followers aren't real. But for your validation, it's the metric. It's the number that makes you feel better. It's just more proof that the game is lost. As soon as it became a streaming metric thing that spearheaded the culture and the discussions, it was cooked. So I guess we're going to have to wait and see what happens with these lawsuits. This botting one against Spotify being the most recent. So we're going to see. We're going to find out. In my opinion, I do think that Drake does benefit from having playlist pushes music or the radio or, UMG putting whatever they need to put behind it to get it to where it needs to be. But I think every artist that is at the high level has had label push, has had help behind the scenes in ways that we may get or we may not. So I don't think it's just him. But at the end of the day, he parades around as if all his numbers are real. And if we find out they aren't, what does that say about his legacy? So you guys let me know what you think down below. Thank you guys so much for all the support you've been giving me. Tap in. I will be having a ton of uploads this November. So stay tuned for that. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. And don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more. And hit that bell for notifications. Stay blessed and stay tuned.